Good morning, Fit Fam. Oh, you want to say good morning, Piper? Come here, Pipes. Say good morning. As usual, going to give like 60 seconds for those to still jump out. Oh, she doesn't want to come up. Oh, come on. What are you doing? There she is. Come on. She's like, I've never done this before. You tell me not to do it. Piper. Okay. For today's Wellness Wednesday, coming at y'all, this will be a two-part series. So as of today, bless you. As of today, we're going to go into the second part next week. If it's not able to be next week, if I do have other trainers jumping on with me, which I would hope so, we've still got Lucy, Maddie, and Cassidy to make their cameo here on the Wednesday Wellness Live. So if it's not next week, the part 2 will be when it's listed the week after and so forth. So just wanted to start off the conversation. What we're looking into, again, this two-part series is using your muscle as fat burners. And it's such a long topic to go into. Today's going to be a short one, and then next week when we go into strategies, or the week after, when we go into strategies on building muscle, exactly how to do it, that then in turn will do what we talk about today with the fat loss. So a lot of times when the fitness industry gets into, we hear stepping on the scale, we say, I just want to lose weight. I want to lose, which is great. Weight loss is great, and it's going to happen if we do it in the right way. I have some notes on my phone that I'm going to reference as well from a book that Jeremy sent me. We're continuing to dive deep into this topic. It's by a phenomenal guy. His name is Tom Veneto. Said that right. He is a natural bodybuilder, so I mean he's got the tips and the tricks. He's got how to do it. Wrote a book about burn the fat to feed your muscles. So using your muscles as fat burners. And again, we go back to the weight loss culture that we're in right now that we're trying to steer away from. That's not necessarily our number one goal in the gym itself. So this is a graphic I found just this week that I'm going to reference as far as just looking at the numbers. When you talk about more muscle, that muscle is then going to eat away at the fat. So you do want more muscle. Oftentimes females, we go in that direction. Women are afraid of gaining muscle. We're afraid of having a bulk. Talk about muscle mamas, but having too much muscle, which, I mean, goal-wise is actually a pretty great thing, because the more muscle you have, that muscle is looking for fat to fuel it. So it's going to start to number that scale off in a different direction. I did take a picture of a specific caption that I'll read through out of the book itself, but this is the graphic. For every pound of muscle you gain, 1 pound, your body burns an extra 6 calories per day at rest. So that's not even including exercise. So every pound of muscle you've got, it's needing about 6 extra calories in that day. Every pound you add on, you're just multiplying that 6. Adding 5 pounds of muscle can raise your resting calorie burn by over 10,000 calories per year. So we talk about being in a calorie deficit. The more muscle you have, the more calories you're burning. Henceforth, you are going to be in a deficit with that calorie burn when you're eating it out. So the burning the fat, feeding your muscles, we're going to go through losing body fat percentage, but specifically, this paragraph right here just caught my attention. When you starve the fat, you also starve the muscle. Culture right now says, I'm just going to go into starvation mode. I'm just going to lose weight by not eating. Now that actually flips the script, and it actually is the opposite effect of what you want, because when you starve the muscle, you lose muscle along with the fat. This is definitely not something we want to do. So when you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down, your body enters the starvation mode, and when your body enters starvation mode, fat loss comes to an absolute screeching halt as your body tries to conserve its energy. So that right there tells you don't want to just be saying, I just want to lose weight. I just want to jump on the scale every day and be losing weight. When the fat loss stops, you either give up, gain back the fat you lost, or you grit your teeth and drop your calories, which in turn is starve yourself even more. If you drop your calories even more, your metabolism slows down, And if your metabolism slows down even more, fat loss, again, comes to a halt. Eventually, you'll end up throwing in the towel because you can't keep dropping your calories forever. It's a vicious cycle. You can't win the very low-calorie diet game. So right there, that emphasizes just being in a calorie deficit is not your solution. Just saying I'm going to put my body in starvation mode is not losing the right kind of weight. So talking about losing the right kind of weight, which is what we go into, is we want to lose the fat and we want to maintain the muscle. So to lose body fat, you must be in a calorie deficit. This is true. You have to be in a calorie deficit, but what kind of calories? We really want to look at merging nutrition and exercise to help you in that calorie deficit. Now, when you calculate your calorie deficit, or when you calculate your total energy expenditure for the day, you don't necessarily include the vigorous exercises that we do at Burn. So you're doing it just to see what your body burns at rest. But you really want to merge eating healthier, so we're fueling our muscles, and we want to merge that again with our high intensity exercise and the workouts we do at Burn, because those are the best for you. But what we really want to focus is eating the right kinds of foods. And that's why I keep coming back to On Demand, the 10-part nutrition series that Devin Klein does, that I'm going to get you all on, is irreplaceable for getting you started with your own macronutrients. And that's really what it breaks down to, is macronutrients. So it's not all about calories. You can have a plate full of calories of absolute junk food, have the same plate full of calories be completely different of our healthy side, our basic and our full eating full of macros. So it really does come down to what you're eating as far as the macro breakdown goes on those. So eating more of the right foods. Why do we calculate macros? And it's why we have specific protein goals. Another good point I think I've talked about in a Wellness Wednesday is, I just got distracted because the dog was just snoring away on the couch. Devin Klein talks about your protein goal needs to be your ideal body weight. So we're not just saying how much you weigh 1 pound for 1 pound. You're not trying to get 1 pound of protein for 1 pound of body weight. If we're talking about above the 150, 160s female wise, and again, depending on your gender, height, and all that kind of stuff as to how we calculate the protein goal. But if you're getting up to a super high protein number that you're never going to be able to reach, and that actually probably is not good for your liver, then that's not going to be beneficial to your body. You want to have 1 pound of protein per 1 pound of ideal body weight that you're trying to get in for a single day. So I've even found it difficult. I've calculated mine at 160. That is really high. That's a high energy expenditure all the way down to 130. So it's a range in there. Okay, weight loss, fat loss, again, are not the same thing. Muscle does weigh more than fat. I wish I had the diagram we used to use when I was in chiropractic rehab and going around and doing these, they weren't necessarily weight loss clinics, but talking about how to lose weight, which again goes back to we want to lose fat, not just weight. I would hold a diagram. It was like a physical plastic representation of 5 pounds of fat, which took up ridiculous amount of space. It actually felt heavier. And then the diagram and the smaller, which was probably only about the size of my fist, the other one was sliding out of my hand on either side. It was huge, was the fat. It takes up so much more space than 5 pounds of muscle. They both weigh the same, but fat takes up more space as well. Now, this is an energy and a fat burning machine when it comes to the muscle being on your body. So really, and again, I come back to females, should not be afraid of building that muscle. That muscle base is what then helps you continue along your correct weight loss journey, your fat loss journey. So again, when I talk about in part 2, going into that, we'll talk about the actual strategies and things we can do to build that muscle. And then in turn, that muscle is looking for energy sources because muscle vibrates so much faster than fat and the metabolism is so much higher. It's looking for building blocks throughout your body. So that muscle is reaching for the fat and saying, I'm going to burn this up and I'm going to use this in my energy expenditure. So goals should not be just to lose weight, but lose fat while maintaining muscle, which we can do. The diet culture right now, I know a lot of, and looking into focus meetings, which you're able to schedule now. I've already had a couple focus meetings. So if you want to schedule that with me, just let me know. You can direct message me through the gym. You can direct message my social. If you have my number, you can text me. Let's go through starting to get you on a consistent schedule for your focus meetings. But the diet culture right now, I get a lot of questions in focus meetings. Hey, should I be doing the keto diet? Should I be doing intermittent fasting? Should I be low carb? I don't know. Everybody is different, and that doesn't mean that I don't know about these different kinds of ways to lose fat and to lose weight, but it just means I don't know what works with your body. I don't know what your body will respond well to. We are all completely different human beings. We are all different internal systems. Some people do well on this kind of healthy lifestyle. Some people want to change to this. It really just depends. That's why we have these focus meetings, to get to know you better as an individual and to figure out and to brainstorm and to go through what works for you. So it's super important you're meeting with one of the trainers and getting this kind of information that's tailored to you specifically. There is so much information out there, so much wrong information out there, but so much information out there that to filter through it would almost feel impossible. So coming to see one of us as trainers in your focus meeting is going to be that key that gets you on the right track for what works for your body. Because what works for one person doesn't work for another. So again, I said I would make this one short. It was just the intro, just the opening to the whole topic of using your fat, or using your muscle, more muscle, to then burn fat. And the difference between weight loss and fat loss is actually quite significant. So part 2, continue on. Hopefully I have some people to chit chat with, have some other trainers with me when we go into that part 2, and lots of tips and tricks, lots of actual daily practices you can do to then flip that switch and go into the fat loss mode while you're doing these amazing workouts with Burn. Just a caveat and a little tangent, I guess, a little side note before I jump off of here. This Saturday's pop-up, I know we're bracing for some weather, apparently, here in the South. So we are just keep your eye on social. We will keep you up to date. It is still 8 a.m. On Saturday, we've got that Express. It is going to be a strength-based camp this weekend. I'm super excited. 8 to 8:30, we're running through that. But again, keep your eyes on social. Got a lot of questions on whether or not it's still happening. All depends on the weather. So you will see that made the announcement on there in both this members group, on our Instagram social, on our Facebook main page, and vice versa. We'll make sure it's on all the venues that you all can find out about the pop-up. But super excited to continue on those pop-ups. We are getting so close to opening. If you haven't seen the construction update video, go check it out on Instagram. Get some exciting sneak peeks into what is to come. So I hope you all have a great Wednesday. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2. Have a good one, guys. Have a